So tonight we have a terrific couple. It's actually the second time we've met them. Leland and Shannon, are you out there?
We're here.
We're
Should be
here.
there.
All right, welcome. And you
Hi.
got the little one there. Is that Charlotte?
Dude,
Yeah.
this
She's
is
cooperating
Charlotte.
right now,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's
All
cooperating.
right. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. I see you started initially in 2018 as a challenge member. You've upgraded. You actually had some properties before you joined Lifestyle, correct?
Yes. So Shannon actually had, she inherited 4 properties from her grandfather that she didn't do anything with, didn't literally just went to college, had no idea they existed.
I had an idea they existed, but I didn't really do much with them.
Right. And then we actually met in college at UNT. That's where we both graduated from, and basically ran into each other and been together ever since.
All right, terrific. And Shannon, I guess you're into project management for events and such?
I am. I'm in project management and corporate events for a large tax and consulting firm in downtown.
All right, fantastic. So Dave, can we flip? There we go. So how did you find out about Lifestyles?
When I used to be in my previous job that I had for 5 years, I was an AV technician, installation, smart homes, TV, surround sound, things like that. It was in my truck a lot, and I heard Dell on the radio, just rolling through channels, and then I heard it. And honestly, it was the lifestyle thing that actually caught my eye or my ear.
Right.
And I was like, what does he mean by that? And then I had to actually go back to like the next week to try and find it around the same time when I actually heard what he was talking about. So that's how I heard about it.
And then what'd you do? Come to either a free workshop or the 2-day?
Yeah, I think I actually went
Or-
online. I think it was the week-long free assessment or something like that. And then it was the free workshop. And then I had to have a heart-to-heart with my wife and tell her that I wasn't crazy. And she actually ended up going. She was super apprehensive. We went to the 2-day. And then by the end of the first day, she was all about it. And then the second day, she was upset we didn't go sooner.
Yeah.
So it took a little arm twisting, but really changed your mind once you got there, huh, Shannon?
Yes.
He did. It took a little bit, but I think it's because I was comfortable with where I was at, and I didn't realize, how I got caught where it was really good, and I didn't think about how great it could be until he really got me going on it.
Well, that's what's so great about the 2-day is it really changes your mind about things. You start thinking differently.
Yes,
All right, so
definitely have everything in our mindset has changed.
you go, wow, why didn't I think of that? So,
Exactly.
all right, so Dave, let's go to the next slide. All right, so this is not your first rodeo or case study, is it? We actually did a case study with you folks just a little over a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And this was the property you acquired from one of our North Texas agents. Laura, want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. So this one we actually got off of an email blast, and I'd been kind of doing fake scenarios with my wife, and that way, because at work, I couldn't really do the analysis and all that, but Shannon could. So I kind of, in a way, trained her, hey, this is all the numbers I need to where if you tell me these 4 numbers, I can say yes or no real quick. So we had the email blast come in. It all worked out, looked good. The cash flow from the projection, though, was actually about 380, if I remember right. And it actually came out to be about 464, so a lot better. And then from the time we got the blast till we said yes to it, I think was maybe 72 hours, but we were the first ones to respond. So once we got everything in order, we said yep, and we took it.
Yeah.
Now I see 0 rehab. Was there already a resident in the place?
Yeah, so we actually had it with a lease in place. So we inherited that lease for 7 months or something?
Yeah, for about 7 months.
About 7 months, I think. And then once that was up, we put our lease into place. Because it was cash flowing so well and we knew what the taxes were, nothing really changed. So we had no reason to raise the rent, and everything just kept going along smoothly. And then we had them for another year, and then we raised the rent slightly. And then come to find out, they became Purple Martians.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
It was
yeah,
a great learning lesson.
and this all happened during COVID. So that being said,
Gotcha.
though, what I wanted to make sure was known is this all happened during COVID. We sold that house, made a profit on it, and all in all, we still made, without being paid for 3 months, we still made money on the house.
Yeah.
So as we
Yeah,
showed
paid off
there,
his
you
truck.
actually used that profit, then paid off your truck, right?
That's correct. And
Yes.
again, that's without having anything coming in for 3 months. I was able to pay off my truck, which actually gave me an extra $567 back in my pocket. So
Yep.
that
So
was
you
big.
actually did kind of raise that cash flow to replace that monthly payment. And that's
Exactly.
basically what a lot of real estate investing is all about, is about you want something for your family, like if you need a new vehicle,
Yep.
hey, buy a property that pays for that. And that's what Dave's going to be teaching you this weekend.
Exactly.
Now, COVID didn't stop you though. You did quite a bit this summer, didn't you?
Yeah. So yeah,
We just
it
went
did.
all in. And to kind of go into this too, I was about 7 months
I
pregnant.
think 7 months
I was
pregnant.
about
Yeah.
7 months pregnant when we got our first
This
one.
first one, yeah.
When we started talking about this first one. So I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. So this all happened. We sold that one that you just saw in May, and with one of my wife's previous ones, we did a 1031 exchange off of that one.
Yeah.
And so
Okay,
that
so
allows.
let's just stop there, because
Sure.
probably a lot of people are not unfamiliar with what the 1031 exchange is. And David, folks, are going to be teaching you this weekend. But basically, it's a way you can sell a property, and instead of having to pay taxes on your profits, you can turn it into, you can invest with new properties and avoid paying taxes.
Correct. And my mom is actually our CPA. She is a CPA, and she did the math on it. And if we were to sell one of her properties outright, we were looking somewhere between $45,000 to $30,000 in taxes because of how long she's had them.
Wow.
And so it was one of those where like, do we really want to take the hit or make this work? And thank God we did the 1031, and it worked out very well for us.
So
we
you
signed the
actually had enough
contract.
profit by selling that property where you could buy 3 new houses with it?
Yes. So we were originally shooting for just 2 because we were worried about the timeline and, are we gonna be able to find, the properties in time, make it all work. We'd never done one before, so we were nervous. But with everyone, our team around us, they were like, no, it's easy. And sure enough, now looking back at it, I'm like, we probably could have squeaked in a 4th knowing what we know now, but we'll take what we
Yeah.
get.
And it was one of those things where I was working with Michonne starting in December of last year, just kind of put that out there, relationships are so key in lifestyles. And,
Sure.
Michonne and I have built an awesome relationship. And so at the time she said, hey, there's going to be some of these new builds coming in. You guys need to, really probably jump on this because we think it's going to really fit well with your portfolio and what you guys are looking for. So that's how this whole thing got started, was because of just working and, working those relationships and working with the lifestyles, what's provided to us.
Yep.
Right. So it's not necessarily, folks, that you have to buy old distressed properties.
No.
New construction can work, because these type of properties are ones that the agents here in North Texas have been selling for a couple of years now. They've sold probably about 25 plus of them, where it's called infill build. It's where smaller builders will go out and find empty lots and build these little starter homes, and they turn into terrific little rentals. And as again, we can see on this property as well, 0 rehab. And of course, you go straight to conventional lending.
Yep.
Closing costs around 42, it sounds like, but you didn't write a check, did you? You just
No, we didn't. Not one.
You just had
not
your
one dime.
1031 exchange is where your profits went when you sold that previous house.
Yep.
You just call them up, they wire the money directly to the title company, and you just gain yourself a new property, didn't you?
That's
We
right.
did.
That's right. And yeah, and these are all new properties. And that was one of the biggest things with her being pregnant, about that newborn. Our biggest concern was we didn't want to deal with the phone calls. We didn't want to deal with having to go out there, all that stuff.
Sure.
And so with the talking about these new builds, they're like, this may work.
Yeah.
And so far we've only had one problem, and it was because it was on the city side. And city came out and they had to replace some grass where they brought a bobcat in to fix the sewer line, and they put it all back like it was supposed to be. So it was one phone call, 2 phone calls. That was it.
And even if it probably was maybe something on your side, again, buying a new build, many times with a new build, you get a 1-year builder's warranty with it. So if it wasn't a call to the city, it would just be a call to the builder to come on out and take care of whatever that issue was.
And actually, yeah, speaking of that, we did have one. We had one on our last one that we bought. Something to do with the front door. I think the latch was misaligned or something. And she called us. We called them, and within, I only heard the one phone call, and I guess the warranty company got a hold of her and handled it. So they haven't complained about it.
Well, terrific. So I think we have some pictures of the inside here on this next slide.
Yes. So when we
Sounds like
bought
this
it,
builder does a terrific job. That looks beautiful.
yeah, so when we purchased it, none of the furniture and all that was there. That's provided by the tenant, but it does come with the stove and the dishwasher is what it came with. Did it have the microwave?
It did.
And they did come with microwaves. So the only thing they had to provide was the fridge and washer and dryer.
Which is standard, folks. So again, you'll learn this during the 2-day with Dave is, as a landlord, you don't provide typically a washer and dryer and a refrigerator. Renters or residents will get their own on those. So again, that was what you did in June. I
Yeah.
guess you just repeated which same thing in July, right?
Yes, so this one was actually, it's our worst performing one for a key reason was we had a deadline for the 1031. You only have so many days to get it done from the time that you say, hey, this is my property where I'm going to dump my money.
Right.
So we actually lucked out. This happened during COVID. It's supposed to be what, 30 or 45 days?
It's only supposed to be a 30 or 45-day period
45
that
days.
you have to be able to spend that money.
Well, we actually
Well,
got
no, well, actually to identify.
correct.
So sorry,
Identify.
yes,
So
right,
just a
I'm
little
so sorry.
background here, because I've done a couple 1031s
Yes.
exchange
Yes, I
as well.
misspoke. I'm so sorry.
Basically, on the day you sell that property,
Yes.
of course, all profits go directly to your 1031 exchange vendor.
Yep.
And the clock starts ticking. You have 45 days to identify 2, 3, 4, whatever properties you're going to buy. You don't have to buy it, but you have to identify the properties you're looking to acquire. And then, of course, you have up to 6 months to actually close on them.
Right. And so that's what our key thing was, is that we didn't identify everything all at once because we weren't sure what was going to happen.
Gotcha.
So we wanted to have the money in reserve in case for some reason we had to dump it into one, we were okay. So we actually ended up, what we did is we priced it just below market for the rent. And then we had, that one was 15 days from the time that we had to disclose everything and got it all wrapped up. So that one, we only had 15 days to get everything done.
Wow.
Got it done.
Terrific. And I like how you say it's your lowest one where you're only cash flowing $455 and you're basically making 20% on your $42,000 investment.
Yeah, your worst deal is making 20% return. That's like buying a bond making 20% tax-free income.
I'm upset though, because on our first one, I actually set the area market rent. We put it at $14.75, and I was at the top of the market, and I ended up getting it all with just having a sign in the yard.
We had like 50 calls within 1 week for each of these
So I'm
properties.
upset because I didn't get as much.
Well, I just want people to know that it's really that easy to do this. You know, 20% return, no headaches, brand new build. I mean, it's just genius.
Yeah.
There's a technical term in the industry when you make that kind of cash flow. You guys know what it is?
Peeing your pants exciting.
Yeah, we
Thank
do.
you. Make sure you remember that.
I'm waiting for the sticker, Dave.
The sticker? Oh, wait, I don't know.
All right. So you kept working with Makisha. You weren't done there. So you got one more in August?
Yep, we got the last one in August, and this one is our best performing one because
But wait a second. It's the end of the world. It's COVID. You're doing all this in the middle of COVID. How did this happen? I mean, according to Biden, we're all going to die if we walk outside, and Trump doesn't know what's going on either. But yet you guys are still doing this stuff.
No, I'm super happy because we got an extension on the 1031 and our rate went down, which is why I think some of these numbers are messed a little backwards. But we get from, I think, a 5 to a 5.2 on some of our loans, and then we went down to like a 3.2.
Yeah.
So that's why this last one was our best performing one. We didn't get the highest rent, but when we dropped almost $100 on payment for our rent and interest on it, it just made the whole different. You know, that's $1,200 a year extra now.
Yeah, when you can lower your expenses, cash flow goes up.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, Dave, what we got in the next slide here?
I think it's the summary.
All right. So not a bad summer for you guys, huh?
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and actually, so to be fair, these are actually our 2021 projections because on 2 of our properties, you're gonna love this. Our entire tax bill is $150. That's
wow.
We built.
We don't pay taxes like Trump.
Yeah, you know.
I mean,
I learned it from him.
You know.
Shame on you.
So yeah, that's
So for 3 months
actually.
more, you're basically putting $20,000 in your pocket.
Yep.
Nice
And-
job,
Smarter, not
folks.
harder.
And you turn one property into 3, tripling your cash flow.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well done. All right, Dave, what we got next? So again, you didn't do this on your own.
Nope.
We had
No,
your
we had-
Lifestyle North Texas team of Laura and Miss Shawn and Makisha, and of course your mentors here, you know, Rick and Lori
Yep.
and myself.
Yes.
right.
And you want to shout out to some of your, it looks like you got your lenders and your insurance, and probably Lou Ann at ERG.
Oh,
Yep, she
we
was
love
amazing.
Joanne.
Yep.
This-
She
this
actually
year,
she
right?
couldn't close with us on the last one because she had her first granddaughter,
Yep.
grandkid.
Oh, okay.
And so she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see them." I was like, "Totally get it. We just had her." So Kerry Donham with Capital Concepts, he actually also helped us on the first house that you saw, and then we're actually in the process of refinancing our personal house right now. So that was great. And then Lee with Integrity, he's done all of our properties, and we're about to have him look at all of our personal stuff also.
He's great. I cannot say
Yeah,
enough good things about
when they can
Lee.
save you so much on your rental properties, you got to
Oh, yeah.
start looking at your personal insurance as well.
Exactly.
And you get rid of Jake, you know, or whoever you might be. currently
Check
with,
from
right?
Done.
So I think you mentioned this, Shannon. You didn't do this alone. You had someone with you all this time, right?
Whole time. So she has been going with me to all these things, whether it was in my belly or if it was on my hip.
Yeah.
So we actually signed our first house, the contract for the first house, 7 days before I gave birth. So
Yeah.
I was massive.
Yeah, she was not happy.
Massive. And so I think our biggest thing is, I mean, we're real people. We have real jobs. We work hard. And the thing is, you know, if we can do it with a newborn
And a pandemic.
and during a pandemic, you know, really anybody can. It's truly that easy. And I come from a family of investors, it's specifically in real estate. And, you know, they did very well, and we're, you know, on the track to do the same. And it's one of those, this is the way to do it.
Oh, when you have that map that Dave's going to provide to everyone this weekend, that's what makes it
Exactly.
that easy.
And did you name her middle name Cash Flow?
No, her middle name is
That would be
Claire.
cool.
I'm gonna let you have that battle.
It's fine.
I can see that in preschool, she's going to be saying cash flow.
Yeah, for
Less
real.
cash flow.
That's right. Rule number
Where's that
2.
cash money?
All right, what's next for you folks?
We want to become IROs, which is the independent rental owner. We're not doing anything for the rest of the year because actually I get up at 4:55 every morning, go to the gym, come back, and then for an hour in the morning, I actually educate myself through the portal with the classes on all the multifamily stuff. And I'm in the process of getting everything I need together for that. So that way we can figure out what's going to be the best for us, but we're definitely going to probably go the IRO route.
Yeah.
That's what's coming up
At the
next.
beginning of 2021 is our goal, is to get
Right.
going on
All
that.
right, terrific. All right, Dave.
And I think eventually we want to be leads, or you want to be a lead. I
Yeah,
think.
I'll get bored and I'll probably become a lead.
Yeah.
So Ember,
Because-
do we have any questions for Leland and Shannon?
Because we're also, just one more last thing, is we're only 30 and 28. So we got a long way ahead of
Nice.
us.
Well done, folks.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on. It's great to see you on again. Got actually quite a few questions about doing the 1031 exchange if you use ERG for that and if it went smoothly. And what you were showing, are those your net profits that go to the 1031 vendor? So after commissions, or how did that work?
So,
And what did you sell when you transitioned into the 1031 exchange?
sorry, it cut out. Say that one more time on the last part.
Oh, what were you selling when you transitioned with the 1031 exchange?
You can. Sure.
So for the 1031 exchange, we sold one of my condominium properties, which you will learn over the weekend. We don't do condos.
Yeah.
We just don't do them.
This was inherited.
This was inherited. And so we're trying to offload these. And so the best way to do that for us, this is for us, was a 1031 exchange. And so we ended up selling that property for $135,000. And then we walked out with $126,000 to use tax-free, which is how we purchased all 3 of those properties.
Nice.
And just to clear that up, you didn't really walk out with it. the check actually
Sorry,
goes
yes.
to ERG.
Yeah, we never
Correct.
saw the money and it
Never
never
saw
went
the
down.
money.
Exchange
Correct.
works. You cannot touch the money. So actually on your closing documents, instead of going to the seller, the profits, it goes to ERG.
Correct.
Next question.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then the next question was, can you use a 1031 for an inherited house if you know?
I don't know that.
Not sure I understand the context of what they're asking. Like if they already own one?
Like if they inherited a house, can you?
Here, let me
Can you-
explain that. If you inherit a
Thanks, David.
house,
Yeah.
there's something called a stepped up basis. So whatever it is, you get it, there should be no taxes on an inherited house. So, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So this wasn't our personal house though. These were already rentals. That's why for us, it would have been a high tax rate for us. We couldn't physically live in it. That's why we would have had to have the extreme hit earlier, like I was talking about.
And just so you know, on
Perfect.
inherited houses, if it's worth 100K, you would only pay taxes on, if it's worth 100K and it's still worth 100K when you sell it, there's no taxes due. It's only if it went up since then, and then you could technically 1031 from that, as long as you held it 2 calendar years.
Yep.
But I could go with more in the seminar. I just don't have time.
Perfect. And then Johnny was asking, how much did you increase rent by per month?
So we haven't had these, but since June,
Yeah, they're during COVID. They only had them a
Yeah,
couple
I
months.
mean, we just.
June,
Yeah,
July,
during
August
June.
this year.
we haven't increased them any at all because we haven't had them over a year yet. But on the other
Mhm.
one, I increased it.
We increased it by about $50, or no?
I
maybe
think
it's
it came out to be like 7% is what I went out by. But again, I didn't do it the first year, so I was really doing a 2-year bump on that last one because
Okay.
then county caught up with it and realized what I actually purchased the house for, and my taxes went up. So that's why I did that.
Perfect. More 1031 questions. So if you use the money from a refinance, do you have to do a 1031 to avoid taxes?
Okay, just so you know, unless you want to answer these, Rick, I don't care.
No, go ahead. I'll let you.
Okay, anytime you're doing a refinance, people, that is not a taxable event. Only on a sale is it a taxable event, and that's where you do a 1031. You can pull money out, you can blow it on hookers and blow, whatever you want. There's no restrictions, there's no taxes on a refinance.
And that's even on your rental properties, because that's something I've been doing every 2 or 3 years. I refinance my rental properties and I pull out the equity that I built up. Just last year, I refinanced 14 properties. I took out 20,000 on each of them. And I was able to go out and buy 2 duplexes with that. And again, no taxes, no penalties.
You're pulling money out, and it's not a taxable event.
Exactly.
Perfect. And how long did it take between closing and getting the tenant signed on the lease?
So that one, that was kind of the tricky one I was talking about. In order for us to do ours properly, we had to go out on the first one, get it rented, and have a signed lease before they would even look at our application for the second one. So that's why I was saying we had 15 days in order to get that done, because then once we had the second one done, then we could declare on the third one, and then we had 6 months to take care of it, whatever that timeline was. So
And that was your lender requirement, right?
yes, that was part of our requirement, right?
Yeah, there's
And
a
when
debt to
you-
income
when you-
ratio, and I'll cover that in the seminar. So
Yeah, when you have a new lease, folks, that's new income. That's like another paycheck that you're showing your lender. So that qualifies them to buy more properties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This
I'd
is
say
why-
roughly 30 days.
And this is why folks can buy 10 houses in a row. It doesn't affect their debt to income ratio because it's not going against your income, it's going against the rental income, which the banks typically will count 75% of that. But I'll cover that in a seminar.
Yeah, but it only took us
Perfect.
about, I don't know what, like 10 days at the most to get one of them rented. I
Yeah,
think.
once we put
Most
the
of them were
sign
about
up
7 days,
till we found our tenant was about 10 to 15 days
if that.
Awesome.
During COVID.
during COVID with nothing but a sign in the yard.
There you go. People still need a place
Take
to
one
live.
more, Ember.
Let me see.
Do one more.
No, well,
That's
I
it?
don't have any other questions at this
All
time,
right.
but thank
Hey,
you
that's
very
cool.
much for doing.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon and Leland. We really appreciate your time giving back and inspiring the next generation of investors. And thank you, Rick, so much as well.
Sure.
Rick, Shannon,
We
Leland,
want
what
to see
advice?
Charlotte in 2 years.
Really
Their
quick,
first
Shannon
investment.
Leland, remember when you first came to my seminar, you're nervous, is this real or whatever? What advice would you give to new people listening tonight for the first time?
You can't start quick enough. I realize it's nerve wracking, but with the team around you and what it is now, I look back at it and when I'm not in a deal, I feel like I'm being lazy and I feel like I need to be doing something to keep doing it. Like I'm bettering their stuff. You know, I just gave myself, I did it the other day. That was a 35% raise on my salary. I did it by myself with my team instead of relying on somebody else.
Yeah.
Start early, do it now, jump in. I know it's scary, but do it.
Yes, that's the best thing I can say. And everything that we do, you know, especially it's like as a team, like
Yeah.
like he's saying, everything is a team here. There's no secrets. It's not like this, you know, crazy, you know, secret society or something. Like everybody's really open with each other and they're really happy to share how they've gotten to where they've gotten.
Yep.
So join, do it. Don't
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. Thank you, Rick.